Hey, beautiful. Welcome back to the Wife Wisdom Podcast. I'm your host, Christy Little Jones, relationship coach, chief cheerleader, and your soul sister on the journey to creating a life and love that loves you back. I'm really excited about this new season. Wife Wisdom is growing with me. It started off as a space to help women thrive in marriage, but God is actually expanding it into something even deeper. A space for every woman who has ever loved deeply and is learning how to love herself again. So whether you are married, healing, or preparing for what's next, you belong here. We're diving into something that God really downloaded on my heart, and it's called The Anatomy of a Wife. And whew, sis, I think this one is going to resonate. The Anatomy of a Wife. We're going to start with the heart because that is where it all begins. Your heart keeps you hoping, wanting for more, desiring for bigger, and really desiring unity and love and oneness. And if you're anything like me, you prayed hard for those things. Girl, I have been there, praying, fasting, waiting, believing that God was going to change his heart. But here is what I have learned. God does not force anyone's will. He invites, he draws, he loves, but he doesn't control. And when your heart is still hoping and his isn't, that gap is devastating. You start to wonder, do I keep holding on? Am I allowed to want more? You never want to disappoint God. You never want to disappoint your family, your friends, or even your own heart. This is where heartbreak and faith wrestle, where your heart really believes in love. It believes in oneness. It believes in the vision that God has for your marriage. But you are also in the middle of losing yourself because you're sacrificing your own desires. You're trying to hold and carry all the weight of the marriage in your family for the both of you. And over time, the weight and the sacrifice of carrying your marriage on your back for the two of you, your heart grows weary and your heart grows tired. Sis, let me tell you, you're not crazy. You're human. Let's move to the mind. The mind is so powerful. And sis, this is really where the battles happen. There's the conscious thought and there's the subconscious thought. Now, the conscious thought are the things that we say. It could be affirmations, it could be desires, dreams, just even the things that you truly would like to see manifested into your life. Those are your conscious thoughts. Then we have our subconscious thoughts, which actually are what we really believe. Our deepest fears, our deeply rooted fears, and our deepest heart's desires. So let me give you a quick example. So let's say you are dating someone or married and you have been cheated on before. Now, you might say out loud, oh, I trust him. Yes, I trust him. But your deeply rooted beliefs or your deepest fears, and when there is some behavior or some action that triggers a past negative experience, what's going to happen? Your deepest rooted fears, your subconscious beliefs are what is going to create a lens over how you perceive the situation. So if your boyfriend, your husband is like, says something or does something that seems a little off, that doesn't really align with the truth of what he is saying out of his mouth, now your subconscious belief, the fear of rejection, the fear of being cheated on, that actually becomes alerted. And now you're skeptical, or you're going through his phone or looking for evidence that he's cheating. It's because that is a deep rooted subconscious belief. The mind is no joke. The power that you have in your thoughts can completely change the entire game of your life, the entire game. So if you were to start paying attention to the things that you say, but then really being intentional about what it is that you believe about what you're saying, it could shift and your whole life change. So instead of saying, oh yeah, I trust him because, you don't want any confrontation, because you don't want to rock the boat. Be honest with yourself and think through, what is it that I really believe about this situation? What is it that I really believe about what he's saying? Do I believe that he's telling me the truth? Do I believe that he's lying to me? And at that point, now you can address the truth and the authenticity of what you're really feeling. And we, many times as women, we're taught to sugarcoat that or stuff it down because, oh, maybe they can't handle the truth. Maybe you're used to walking on eggshells, and so you're trying to navigate what you should say and what you shouldn't say because you don't want it to be a riff, or you don't want him to pull his love away. Not only does the mind have to deal with the conscious and the subconscious, it also has to do with the mental load of managing all that you manage. Schedules, meals, work, birthdays, and all the unseen emotional labor. So remember, your thought life has power. Even the things that you think about, like, I do everything. I'm holding everything together. Why do I always have to be the one to apologize? Am I enough? Am I not enough? All the thoughts that you have a purpose, they have power, and there's a result. Well, God says renew our minds. Well, renewing our minds isn't just spiritual, it's survival. You have the power to choose. You have the power to choose what thoughts stay and what thoughts have to go. Sometimes I cringe when I hear people speak really negatively about themselves, when they talk about their bodies or their hair or their hands or their feet or whatever, and they're teasing themselves to another person, really desperate for validation, for acceptance, for love. And it makes me cringe because the power of life and death is in your own tongue. So if you're saying, oh, I'm ugly, I'm not smart, I'm fat, I'll never find love, no one will ever love me. Oh my gosh, that is power. Don't say that about yourself. Catch yourself. If you're one of those people who speaks negatively about yourself because your self-esteem is so bruised and broken, and you're looking for someone to help you lift it up or lift it out of this deep, dark pit, change the thought. You cannot have a negative and a positive thought in your brain at the same time. So if a negative thought pops up, notice it, and then switch it right then and there. So if you have a fear, a subconscious fear that comes up that I'm going to be by myself the rest of my life, change it. I'm love, I'm light, I'm valuable, and I'm a good catch. Anyone who finds me would be lucky to have me. Shift the thought, shift it. Don't let it sit, don't let it linger. Definitely don't go to sleep on it. Change your thoughts. Be conscious about your thoughts. When the thought comes up, it's, oh, I hate my stomach. Oh, change it. Notice it. I love my stomach. It birthed 3 beautiful babies, right? Just notice it and change it and shift it right there, then and there. That will start training and renewing your mind and redeveloping that subconscious mind into powerful beliefs that can manifest in your life. Okay, next we're talking about the hands. The hands tell the story of how you love. They serve, they nurture, they build, they hold, they hug, they carry tears, they carry laundry, they do a lot. But one of the things that's most important about what the hands do in telling the story of the way you love is they give and they give and they give. But oftentimes those hands don't know how to receive. and they get tired and they get weary. Your hands were not only meant to give, they were also meant to receive love, receive care, receive support, receive healing. And if I can be honest, many of us don't know how to receive. It's more comfortable for us to give because it's challenging to receive sometimes. Why? Because of the vulnerability. The vulnerability that comes with receiving, that we need something, we need someone, oh, we're a failure, we can't do it by ourselves, we're less than, all of the thoughts that you've been told or the thoughts that you believe that aren't true. Receiving is part of who you are, who God's created you to be. You were created to receive. You were created to receive love and care, peace, happiness, joy. So instead of defaulting to carrying the load, everyone's load, and putting yours to the side, this week I want you to ask yourself, what am I carrying? What weight, what load am I carrying that I was never meant to carry? And then ask yourself, how can I release it? So now we're moving to the feet. And the feet tell the story of your journey, where you've been, where you're going, and sometimes where you've stayed too long. Every marriage, every relationship, every chapter in your life has highs and lows, detours, and new destinations. Sometimes your feet are running fast, sometimes they're dragging, and sometimes they are staying still and stuck. There were times that my feet were moving forward and his were standing still. And this misalignment created tension that I could not fix. And it weighs on you. But be encouraged. Even though there may be a shift in the path that you're taking, God will always still order your steps. And in the end, it's your journey that really matters. Now let's move to your voice. Similar to the thoughts, your voice has power. It can heal, it can hide, it can speak truth, it can speak death. It can build bridges or it can build walls. It can heal and it can really hurt. I've spent most of my life recovering from people pleasing, which is a symptom of hiding your voice. So many of us silence our voices. We don't like confrontation. We are tired of conflict. We are afraid of rejection or judgment. Or over the years, we're not even sure if our voices really matter. But I'm here to tell you today that yes, your voice matters. So I want to encourage you to speak life, not complaints. Express your truth with boundaries. Ask for what you need. Don't hint at it. Stop being passive aggressive. Emotional safety creates a space for you to speak your truth from your heart. So again, your words have power, not to fix someone else, but to free you. Now we're moving to the spirit. Your spirit is your anchor. This is where you have your connection to God, your intuition, your inner compass. So many wives are the spiritual glue in their homes. They pray, they intercede, they stand in the gap, they see a need and fill it over and over. But even the strongest spirit gets weary. And sometimes God may whisper, "But daughter, at what cost?" But here's a truth that I learned. God never asks you to erase yourself to save someone else. He calls you to love in truth and in freedom. He designed you for unity, love, and peace and mutual care, not silent suffering. Even in heartbreak, God invites you back to yourself. So today we have been talking about the anatomy of a wife, but really we're talking about the whole woman. Whole, worthy, and wonderfully made. A woman who has loved deeply, sacrificed greatly, but still chooses love, peace, and growth. She deserves joy, she deserves reciprocity, she deserves peace, and she deserves love. She's not just a wife. She's a woman rediscovering the power, the importance, and the purpose of her heart, her mind, her hands, her feet, her spirit, and her truth. And all of those parts of her coming together, working together to create her beautiful journey. So this week, I want you to pause and ask yourself, which part of me is feeling neglected right now? Your hands, your heart, your mind, or your spirit? I want you to choose one small, gentle way to honor that part of yourself. It might be rest. It might be prayer. It might be saying what you've been holding back. Whatever it is, honor you. Your anatomy tells a beautiful story, one of faith, resilience, and rebirth. No matter what season you're in, every part of you matters. Thank you so much for sharing this space with me today. I want you to remember that you are not alone. You are deeply loved. And remember, God is still guiding you, even in the detours. So take a deep breath. Give yourself grace and keep creating a life and love that loves you back. If this episode spoke to your heart, I invite you to check out one of my free resources in the show notes below. Or if you know a woman or a wife who's heavy, who's carrying the whole load and exhausted and really wants to release it or learn how to love herself again, share this with her. I love you. I'm grateful for you. And I'm cheering for you always. See you next time. Thanks so much for watching. If the video you just saw blessed you, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. And if you're ready to go a little deeper, whether in your faith, your relationships, or personal growth, visit ChristyLovesYou.com/go deeper. I have something really special waiting for you there. Until next time, know that you are loved, you are seen, and I am cheering for you always.